Alrighty, welcome back, everybody. What week, Joe?
11.
All right, we are on week 11, and me and Joe were kind of just speaking off air before. We were saying how lucky and blessed we pretty much feel because it already feels like we're in playoff mode, and we still have so much left of the season to go. And that's because, well, I mean, other than I don't know. Well, I don't think you watched Nick Wright's podcast, but he was saying how like the Chiefs had the best week out of everybody this week, because like they basically clinched first place. Like if the Ravens lose to the Bengals, like they basically it's Arrowhead Invitational again this year. Of course it is. But yeah, it's starting to get really interesting. We're gonna do what we usually do. We're gonna discuss we've been doing a good job of that, intertwining discussing last week while predicting next week's games. We've been doing a good job of that, so we're not going to change that up. We're going to keep it going. And yeah, unless you got something to say, let's get it started.
I do have something to say, and what I have to say is clearly halfway through making the primetime games, someone was fired and someone with a competent brain was hired, because this week we have a hell of a Thursday night football game. I am excited. Bengals, and I'm not sure if people knew how much this game was gonna matter for each. I mean, they probably thought it was gonna matter for the. They probably thought it was gonna matter for the Bengals winning the AFC and the Ravens making a playoff push. But it's like it's the exact opposite, actually.
No, but you got to remember, a lot of especially media analysis had high expectations for the Ravens coming into this year. But I get your point. It's definitely the roles definitely seem a little bit reversed at the moment.
This is fucking. I can't believe I just walked in on this because I actually have no idea who I'm going to take in this game. Let me see if you can sway me one way.
I'm taking the Bengals.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think anything that what I saw last week necessarily like worried me in a sense of like thinking that, oh, they're gonna revert back to like the first couple of weeks or whatever. I thought Burrow did make some stupid plays here and there, but it's like, whatever. CJ Stroud is on a hell of a run right now, and I mean,
crack.
What?
City's on crack.
CJ Stroud is on a hell of a run right now. That was just they ran into a team that's just got a lot of momentum going. I do feel like the Bengals were looking ahead just a little bit. They were dealing with some injuries. I know some people played, but they still seem, you don't know how that goes. But I don't know. I think they're going to be prepared for this week, and yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. But I'm riding with the Bengals.
It's interesting. Both these great teams are coming off losses, and they were losses in games that they probably should have won looking ahead and just in general. The Bengals, the reason they lost is because they had a rough first half, right? Like I think they had like 6 straight 3-and-outs or some shit like that. Maybe not a 3-and-out, but like couldn't get past the 50 on the field. And then they woke up in the second half and looked like themselves again. So, meanwhile, the Ravens did the same exact thing. Why did I say meanwhile? Both of them, actually no, the Ravens, the first half were really good and the second half shit the bed. So that's kind of interesting. This one is such a 50-50. I don't even want to say 51-49 when I say my pick because it's so 50-50. But I guess I'll just take I'll take the Ravens just because they have a better record. That's literally why. They've been better this year than the Bengals have. I know a lot of that record plays into Burrow's injury, but we're not talking like some like losses. We're talking the Bengals had some bad losses. And like I said, this is so 50-50 that like nothing against the Bengals. I could see them winning. And tomorrow I'll wake up and say, "Oh, you know what? I think the Bengals are going to win." But
do you think
like I said,
Bengals,
I'll just take the Ravens just because of the prior games.
Do you think the Ravens have been playing better than the Bengals recently?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, no,
Absolutely. I mean, they destroyed Detroit and then they destroyed Seattle, two prime
I'm
contenders.
not saying you're wrong. I'm just a question.
Who did the Bengals beat last week
They lost to the
or 2 weeks ago
Texans.
now? No,
Uh,
the week before.
no, they won a couple big games. The Bills, the Niners. They won some tough
I,
games.
I well, no, I know they won against the Niners.
The nine.
Was
Well,
la
well,
was
well, no, 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 no,
was the
no.
week before?
No. Listen. They beat the Seahawks. They beat the Niners, and then the Bills before
Oh, okay. So
uh,
they're on a hot stretch as well. I mean,
That's the only reason why
obviously,
I asked
like,
that. That's why I asked that question because I'm like, you're right. The Ravens have some good wins, but the Bengals are like we're really starting to heat up, and I still think they are.
okay, but and like I said, nothing against the Bengals because the 49ers and the Bills are the 49ers are really quality team. But like they beat the 49ers. The Ravens crucified the Lions and the Seahawks, especially the Lions, who are a prime contender this year. Like they made it look like they didn't belong. They made it look like the last like decade of the Lions versus like what we've seen. Not like, oh, the Lions lost to the Ravens. Like, holy shit. The Lions got blown out, no chance of winning. It was over by the third quarter. And the Bengals didn't do that. And like I said, that's not taking away from the Bengals, but you're asking me to compare two teams here. That's the comparison. The Ravens, you can argue whoever won against whatever better teams, but at the end of the day, it was two solid teams that each of the teams beat, and the Ravens were much more convincing in the way that they beat those teams.
I hear you.
All right. Wow. More AFC North, huh? Steelers and Browns? Woo. Um, I think the talk of Miles Garrett being MVP from Nick Wright, that's really interesting. I mean, Miles Garrett doesn't come to mind immediately, but but I see where he's coming from. There's no standout quarterback, and I feel like if there's no standout quarterback, the NFL isn't going to do a quarterback just because it's so overdone. You're talking about one of the best defenses of all time in the Browns right now. I'm not sure how that's shaping up over the last couple of weeks, but obviously before that, um, I could see a reality where someone that's not a quarterback is MVP, and I could see why Miles Garrett might be a candidate for that. But as far as this game goes, I'll take the Browns. Um, they they looked convincing last week. I think they looked convincing because they were the ones playing the yeah, yeah. The second half of the Browns was unbelievable. They did give up a lot in the first half, so kind of unfortunate, but if you can beat Lamar, if your defense can beat Lamar Jackson, it can beat Kenny Pickett as well. So that's what I'm going with.
I mean, they also got the shit beat out of them the last time they played the Ravens, but I get your point. Yeah, I think the Browns should. I mean, this is a game they should win. I feel like you know what I
Yes.
mean. Like I feel like
Mhm.
like I get it. They have the same record, but like if they lose
Yeah.
this game, that would be kind of bad for them. But I will say this. And I am taking the Browns, but man, I really enjoyed that the Steelers game last week, and I really thought that they looked like they look like a team that is starting to make improvements. Now
Yeah. I'll give him that.
will that continue? I don't know. But I don't think they've improved enough for me to put them on a level with the Browns yet, who I don't even think are like that, crazy of a team. Like you just said, one of the best defense of all time. I disagree. They're a great defense this year. I don't think they're like some legendary defense, but
I meant statistically. I should have said that
but,
statistically.
but that's besides the point. But yeah, I think this is a game that the Browns should win. They're at home too. You know what I mean? It's not like they're at Pittsburgh.
Mhm.
So yeah, I like the Browns.
Question: have the Steelers played the Bengals yet this year? I don't think they have.
No, they still have to play. They still have to play Pittsburgh twice.
That's an opportunity. In my eyes, at least. We'll see what you think when it comes to that.
I don't think so.
We'll see. We'll have a good conversation about it. But opportunity for Bengals, by the way. That's what I mean.
Oh, no
Anyways,
shit. No shit.
so wait, why do you say I don't think so?
because you the way you made it seem like a good opportunity, like for the Steelers. Like I feel like that's pretty obvious that the Bengals will beat the Steelers. Like you made it seem like you
Okay,
thought they're coming
okay.
with a hot team.
My guy has the Heinz Field it out of his window right now. I don't know what the hell's going through your mind, but
Good point.
all right. Is this the week we got Raiders Dolphins that the Dolphins beat a 500 team? It feels so wrong calling the Raiders a 500 team.
It
You
does.
didn't even know. I can tell by your face right now. You
No,
didn't even.
no, I did. I did know because I was really. I mean, we'll talk about it more with other teams later on, but that conference is really starting to look crazy. Obviously, the Chiefs are going to win that. I mean, that division. Obviously, the Chiefs are going to win that
Mhm.
division, but that division is starting to look wild, like
I
wild.
call it surprising more than anything. I think it's a surprising division. And you know what? I was looking at the Raiders' schedule. I forget right now. I'm gonna look back, but I'm pretty sure they have an easy schedule.
But
No, they have a horrible schedule. Okay, I knew it was one or the other.
I think I mean I understand the whole teams over 500 thing, but I think that I think the Dolphins are going to handle business pretty soundly against the Raiders. I don't think it's necessarily going to be a close game, personally.
Yeah, I feel like the teams that the Dolphins have struggled against, like even with the 500s. I mean, they had a decent defense, and it comes down to that. Usually, a 500 or over team has a decent defense, and the Raiders might have a worse defense than the Bears. like, I'm just saying they have a horrible defense. So that's why I choose the Dolphins. I could just because it's a 500 thing, I understand why, like, the Dolphins might be like a question mark on this game. And I as crazy as that looks, I understand it. And the reason the only I don't want to say the only, but one of the big reasons I'm choosing the Raiders is because the Dolphins is because the Raiders defense sucks. Can't even talk today.
Well, yeah,
Um,
but I think that's a fair reason though, because the
yeah.
Dolphins take advantage of a defense like that, or they should at least.
See, the reason that I feel like I have to explain myself is because eventually it's like you keep going back for more if you're taking the Dolphins on a 500 team, right? It's you keep going back for another beating. And I just feel like this time it's different this time. I've
It's
changed. It's
that
different.
that's why, but that's why I said before I started, I was like that. I throw that out the window for this game. I mean, it's not the same thing. Like in
Mm,
my eyes, I don't look at it as the Dolphins haven't beat a 500 team. I look at it as the Dolphins haven't beat a contender esque team. That's like the
yeah.
level I more so put it in. And obviously, I don't think the Ravens are like a conference championship level team. So for me, I don't really put too much stock into that. But if the Dolphins do lose this weekend, it will be kind of funny to like really look back at it. But we'll see.
Yeah, no, if the Dolphins lose to the 500 Raiders, then every team, I'm betting against them until they beat a 500 team. I don't care. I don't care if somehow like like let's say transfers next year, the Bears start 1-0. I'm taking I'm taking the Bears over the Dolphins week 2. Like, geez.
Fair.
Um, Speaking of the Bears Lions. I don't know why I sounded so intrigued in saying that the Lions are going to win this game.
Yeah,
I mean. I
yeah,
was just like, hey, I was just talking about you guys. Although I will say, Justin Fields might be out of a job. Like, I don't think the Bears won. Did the Bears win last week? I don't think they did. But oh, they did. They did beat the
yeah,
Panthers.
yeah. They beat the
Um,
Panthers.
yeah, no, this guy. And now that I'm saying it out loud, it was against the Panthers, but I don't know. They just don't seem to be any weaker without Justin Fields out there, you know? Like are they better? I don't know. But you're talking this guy who's never played in the NFL before, producing at the same level as someone who's been there for damn near 3 full years now, right? So, I think Justin Fields might be out of a starting job at least in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, that was your guy. That was your
Oh
guy
my
beginning
gosh.
of the year.
I mean, I'll tell you what, I had a lot of guys. I had a lot of guys. 2 of them are currently on friggin' IR right now. So I guess, and Fields is hurt. all of my guys just ended up getting hurt. That's what I'm gonna take out of this. Except for my well, you can't really injure a defense, but my Browns defense is still staying strong. But Cousins, Stafford, Fields, Mac Jones is not my guy. Don't even go there. But
Oh, I
yeah,
you
no, my
you hate on the Patriots more than anyone I know.
well, you love to hate. I mean, I'll tell you what. When my mom was in here rooting for the Patriots on Sunday morning, I was avidly rooting against them so they would get a top draft pick.
Well, that's fair. I
And
mean that makes sense though. I respect
I
that.
was I was we had my 8-year-old cousin. Fun fact, we had my 8-year-old cousin over for like a sleepover the night before, and we had the game on in the morning. And my mom was screaming, cheering for the Patriots, and I was screaming, cheering for the Colts. And my little cousin said, Cousin Joe, why do you want the Patriots to lose? And I, in about 20 seconds, explained the concept of an NFL draft. And she said, so the worse you do, the better players you get for next year. And I'm like, and we're already not going to make the playoffs. And she's like, oh, go horseshoes. I'm like, bro, this 8-year-old child can understand how a draft works better than my own mother. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. Like, she thinks she's some diehard fan when in reality, it's more real over here.
Right.
But I just thought that was funny. Uh, Titans, Jaguars. Do you
No,
take
no.
anything out of the Jaguars game?
Um. Well, I really didn't because we've seen it's very rare, but I have like there has been instances where Trevor Lawrence has played really bad before.
Mm,
But for me, he's someone who I do give the benefit of the doubt. And like I feel like a lot of that was on him. And
oh yeah.
with that being said, that's why I'm not panicking because
Mm,
I do think he's just gonna brush that off and just move on to the next game.
yeah.
Like if there was a lot more than just him going on, then I would like hit the panic button. But no, I think that this was actually. I mean, I'm not gonna say this was good for them, but like I think that it's gonna be like okay, like we got to get on our stuff now. I think this said more to like how the 49ers like they need their when they do have their full squad there, they're still the 49ers. You know what I mean? Like so I
I
think it's
mean,
more about them. But I guess I mean we can get to that, but I'm taking the Jags. I'm not gonna let that last week game get to me, and you know what I mean? Like
the change. Everyone says, "Oh, no, all the Avengers are together." I mean, I think the only change between before the bye week and right now is Debo Samuel. Like there was one game where McCaffrey was out, but that's one of the three losses.
well,
And
yeah, that plus Brock Purdy got to heal up a little bit, get himself
oh,
ready
you
to
have to
go.
concur. Okay,
But I'm just saying, like, even that one, even Debo coming back, like, even that one thing, it's like a domino effect. Like, like they're like such a perfectly crafted team that when even like a piece or two is missing, like that, it make you see the chinks in their armor a bit, if that makes sense.
mm,
Um, but I don't know. I just feel like it said more about the Niners. I think the Niners were just they were determined to like really make a statement. Um,
mm.
which is what I said. I said on the pod last week. I was like, I just find it so I just can't see a world where the Niners would have lost four in a row. I could not vision it.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I was so adamant. I was so adamant about the Jaguars winning that game too. I look like an ass, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people were.
yeah.
Um, what was I gonna say? Oh, well, anyways, I'll take the Jags. We're talking about the 49ers here for some reason. Yeah, I'll take the Jaguars. Titans, Will Levis, one hit wonder. Let's pump the brakes on that, but it's kind of looking like a beginner's luck thing. And of course, we are saying the word beginner here. This does not mean that he is going to the XFL next year. It just means that we're not going to see any more of that. I don't think we're going to see any more of that production from him until at least next year when he gets some practice, some time under his belt. But
Get ready to learn Chinese, buddy.
that too, we get ready to play for the Shanghai Sharks. Uh, What was I gonna say?
Oh, can I pee real
Chargers.
quick before we do this next game?
Drinking too much water there.
Yeah.
131 proof water.
Oh, I wish.
No, you don't.
You're right. Uh,
So while Mike was going to the bathroom, I don't know if this is real. It says it's Stephon Diggs' story. I asked him at halftime to get me the ball more. He said, "Put on a Broncos jersey." I'm done. All
What
right,
game we got
Pack.
next?
What?
So what game we got next?
Oh, sorry. I was about to say, Chargers, Packers. Two very underwhelming teams this year, but I don't. Uh, should I call the Packers on an upset? Should I do it? I can't just keep picking the fate. I can't do it. I can't do it.
I mean, is it okay? But like,
It's an
is it
upset.
really an upset at this point?
Yes.
But
Yes.
okay, but it's not it's not like it's not something to where if you were like, oh, this is gonna be the score, like this team's gonna win, like it wouldn't be like, oh my god, you know what I mean? Like the the Chargers are basically in last place in their division, and the Broncos are ahead of them, and the Raiders.
Okay, but here's the thing. The Chargers have looked way better in their losses than Green Bay's looked in their losses,
Like
even
that.
some of their wins.
No, okay. Look, you're right. Technically, it's like Chris Broussard who's all technical about stuff, but technically, it's an upset, yes. But it's not like it would be like me picking like the Giants to beat the Eagles. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, yeah, well, there's there's some upsets that are developmentally challenged or whatever, and there's some that are an upset. I think this is a pretty clear-cut upset if I was to pick the Packers over the Chargers. Like I said, on paper, on record, and the fact that in the games that the Chargers have lost, they've been in a lot of those games and then ended up losing the games. Now, their record is bad. They're not a great football team, maybe not even a good football team this year, but I'll tell you what, they are significantly better than the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay, like, they have Mac Jones might have more to work with in terms of wide receiver. Okay, that's a little far, but like it's almost there. It's almost that bad. They do not have a good team.
yeah, no,
But
I mean, I'm don't get it twisted. I'm picking the Chargers. I think my
yeah,
problem is like I'm like I don't know, man. I really enjoyed that Steelers Packers game last week. Like it was such a good game to watch. I mean, maybe that's just because like I think I'm like low key really like all jokes aside, I'm really starting to become a Steelers fan, and it's a really cool experience for me because I haven't been a fan of a football team in a long time. So like
and
it's
you just come on and say it. You're clearly a Steelers fan. I was there. You're
I
a
am.
Steelers fan.
I am. No, I am. But no.
Then stop saying you're becoming one because you are one.
Okay, no, you're right. But I guess my point is like even a week ago, 2 weeks ago, like, yeah, like I cared if they won, but like I wasn't as invested. Like if they lost, they lost. Like I wasn't really sweating over it. But last week watching the game, I was so invested and I was like, wow, like I guess what I'm saying is I'm becoming like a super fan, like in a sense of where it's like these games really mean something to me. Of course I've been rooting for them, but so I don't know if it's just like gauging my view on the Packers because the Packers aren't good. But let's be real. The Chargers have a bunch of good players, but the Chargers aren't good. But I'm still gonna take the Chargers, but
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm arguing.
Keenan Allen nasty. Keenan Allen's showing me why he's so good this year. I always wondered like what's everyone's deal. I know now, but what am I gonna say? Well, here's the question. If the Chiefs were playing the Eagles at the same time as the Steelers are playing whoever, are you watching the Steelers game more or the Eagles game more?
See, it's something I'm thinking about right now, but if you asked me this a week ago, I would have told you Chiefs.
Okay.
But I'd probably
I guess you are becoming. Okay, I guess.
you know what I'm trying to say? Like, because I worded it wrong, but I'm becoming more invested in it. That's all.
All right. next game, we both take Chargers. Cardinals Texans is CJ Stroud MVP candidate. I was, and I know they did this on First Things First, but I was literally thinking like, damn, like he's thrown like really well the last like 2 3 weeks. Like he could he be MVP or am I just crazy? And then they started discussing it on First Things First, and I'm like, I guess I'm not crazy. I guess that is a fair take.
See, the problem I have with it is like this is the same thing that happened last year. Mahomes won it last year, right? I think
I didn't know.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. But so
Or Rogers. Was it
no.
Rogers?
Rodgers
No,
didn't.
no, because he sucked. That's
Yeah.
right.
So last year, every single week there was a new MVP, and this season it's been the same thing. And
hmm
and I think like for me, I love the whole CJ Stroud thing. Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. So like for me, I love the CJ Stroud conversation, but it just annoys me because it's the same thing as last year. I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna go on the limb right now, and I'm gonna say this. Don't be surprised if Patrick Mahomes wins MVP again at the end of this year.
I won't. Honestly, I'm surprised he's not in more discussions. Obviously,
But that's my point. But this is the thing. This is why I always say to you, bro, and you think I'm crazy when I say this, but this is why I say the Chiefs are always still somehow being made out to be underdogs.
Mhm.
It falls into that. It's like people give them extra motivation when they don't need to. Every week they try to dance around who's the best team in the league, who's the best quarterback, and it's like, guys, no, like it's still this guy. But regardless, I want to take that off of it because I really want to give CJ Stroud his props. And I really think that he's going to be an incredible quarterback. And but no, I don't think he's going to be an MVP. But I also want to give Kyler Murray his props because I was happy to see Kyler Murray last week, and I know you were too.
Oh,
Um,
but wait. Before you say anything else, Chargers are losing.
okay.
Just like the Falcons. I'm putting my money on the Cardinals. Putting my money on the Cardinals. Kyler Murray is back, and he is mad, and the Falcons suck. How about us, huh? Picking the Cardinals over the Falcons and being right about it, dude. I thought
Especially
I was on a I remember I thought I was on a limb there, and when I finished talking, you said, you know what, you talked me into it. I'll take the Cardinals, and I'm like, crazy, Mike. I'm wrong. I'm wrong though, and then we were.
no. But and it's funny too because I can't really speak for you, but I can speak for me. I low key picked the Falcons a lot this season, like in their games. I don't know why,
I'm not sure.
but
I'm
I
not
low
sure.
key have. So yeah, no,
It's one of
that
the games
was
they would like the Commanders. It's one of the games they would lose against some ass team.
for sure. But yeah, man, I actually think this might be somewhat of a decent game. I mean, I'm gonna pick the Texans, but I am excited to see. I am excited to see how Kyler does next week. I'll tell you that much. You know, I think next
Yeah,
week. I think next week could be a week where CJ Stroud doesn't play out of this world. You know, like I think
mhm,
this could be a game where it's kind of like he comes back down to some normalcy.
mhm.
But I still think the Texans are going to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't. I mean, you don't have to play out of this world to beat the
That's what I'm
Arizona
saying. Yeah, no,
Cardinals.
yeah,
At least I don't think. Obviously, we got a new team here with the Arizona Cardinals. I didn't like. I'm pretty sure last week I said I'm like I don't think like James Conner and Kyler Murray coming back would be night and day. I just kind of felt the reason I picked the Cardinals was kind of just because I felt like the Falcons were going to be in upset mode, but it kind of was night and day as far as Kyler Murray went. He was out there running the ball a lot, which I was kind of surprised with, given the fact I forget it was an ACL or Achilles. I think it was an ACL. I was surprised he was running it not as well as he was, but as much as he was taking those risks.
you're taking the risk
He
exactly. That was a great sign. That was a great sign.
yep, he was throwing it well, running it well, and he was reading plays well. He played well, and like I said about Joshua Dobbs, who coincidentally, like, he was just on Arizona. He also played the Falcons the week before and killed them. we're talking about that Falcons defense here. So unfortunately, I am gonna have to give the edge to the Tech. It's not even unfortunate, actually. I guess it is as a Pats fan. I guess I kind of want the Cardinals to win because Drake May
I
and
don't
Caleb
even
Williams.
I don't even care. I'm just more so watching them now to see like because obviously they're not going to make the playoffs this year, but I'm more so watching them just to see like okay, how are they going to look next year possibly? You know what I mean? Like maybe they keep it with Kyler,
Yeah, right.
and it's interesting to think about how a couple weeks ago they were all in for Caleb, and now it's like they could have switched their entire plans now. So that's going to be
Mhm.
interesting to see it unfold. But also I think a pretty cool, like weird thing too is like just to show how close like the this AFC race is, like the Texans are now one game out from the Jags to win the division. In
Right.
a division that
Yeah,
was
we love to
supposed to be
see it.
so in a division that was supposed to be so easy for the Jags. Now I still think the Jags are going to win the division, but it's just a cool little side note in this saga.
And you want to know what else is interesting is we were talking about the Colts potentially winning that division a while ago. It's really been a much more interesting division than we thought it would be. And the thing is, it's getting so overshadowed by the AFC North that like it's like whatever. But
And the AFC,
I mean, it is still a
yeah,
very interesting division of football.
yeah.
What was I gonna? I had one other thing I was gonna say though. It was just yeah. I mean, it wasn't even necessarily Caleb Williams. It was like, is Josh Dobbs gonna take away the starting job from Kyler? And not to say that Josh Dobbs is any better than Kyler Murray, but it's I'm pretty sure Kyler Murray's on the last year of his contract. They were thinking, is he gonna move on? And actually, I'm almost certain he is because that was the idea that this offseason he was gonna sign elsewhere and they were gonna draft a quarterback. But if they didn't get high enough a pick could Josh Dobbs have stayed there? Well, that is now out the window. He is killing it in Minnesota. So,
Um,
I forgot how good Kyler Murray was. I
yeah,
completely forgot,
yeah.
and he's a really fun quarterback to watch. Same as Josh Dobbs with the Vikes.
Shout out to Kyler. I'm not even trying to be funny here. Like, we genuinely don't need to talk about these next two games to save time. The Cowboys and Giants are gonna, like, the Cowboys and Commanders are gonna win. Um,
Is I oh it's called a bye week. I was so sure that the Giants were playing the Pats this week because
yeah,
I know the Patriots' next game is against the.
so we can move past those. I mean, I think the Giants are in full tank mode.
Wait,
I mean, they should be, but
wait, wait. But it's the Commanders versus a really horrible team.
the Giants are in tank mode. Let's continue.
That's for I'll say it. The Giants might be with the injuries they currently have the worst team I've ever seen in
Thank
football.
you, thank you.
They
Last
are worse than the.
last week on this podcast, you said they were better than the Patriots. But anyways, um,
I wish they were.
let's just continue. 49ers, Bucks. I think the 49ers are gonna win. I mean, I don't think this is another game we really gotta spend too much time on. It looks like the Bucks have
Some
kind of
ass 1 o'clock games. Damn, we're already out of them.
yeah. It looks like the Niners have kind of got their mojo back, so I
Mhm.
expect that to continue. Although the Bucks are coming off a win, but I don't know.
Mm.
I got the Niners.
I'll I want to take an upset at some point. But I don't want to take the upset for the sake of taking an upset. So I guess I will also take the Niners. Um, Purdy looked good. Purdy looked great. It. I don't think that the comeback of Devo Samuel, um, was the reason they won. I think it's rather unfortunate that he happened to come back on the game that Brock Purdy happened to start to look really good again. Um, Obviously MVP talks are out of the window in my opinion, and mostly everyone's opinion. CMC did not get a touchdown though, breaking his almost record-breaking streak, which is I don't like the Jaguars now. I hope they lose every game. No, I'm kidding. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, 49ers. This should be an easy win for them. I can see the Bucks putting up a fight. Especially with how well Baker's been playing. Baker's been playing well. And I know that you love to hear that. I know that you love to see that. You love watching Baker play.
I'll
So
tell
I've
you
been saying
what.
for years, he's one of the more underrated quarterbacks in the league. And that's not saying he's a great quarterback, but people really treat him like he's trash. Like
Yeah.
he's an F tier quarterback.
Well, that's because of unrealistic expectations that were put on him early on. But I will say it
Hmm.
is kind of, a cool side story now to like I said, like this regular season, like we've talked about the playoffs being like the past few years, like the best it's ever been. But like I'm gonna go out on the limbs. This is the best. Let me not say the best. This is my favorite regular season in like since I was a kid. Like because
I
like
mean,
there's so many different storylines. Like even on top of the big ones, like watching Kyler Murray now, and then also seeing like Baker. Like it's just fun seeing them like settle into their roles. You know what I mean? And it's
yeah.
just like I don't know. It's there's a lot of cool, interesting things about this season specifically that I think people are going to remember for a long time.
I just feel like for me, it's just because I'm paying a lot more attention around the league these days. So
I mean,
if you want to say maybe like the last like couple of years, sure. I
yeah,
still feel like I'm paying a lot more attention this year than the last couple of years, but
you
I think a lot of it is that I've
you're
always
right.
wanted to like go back and like look at old footage and just see like some storylines from back in the day, but
No,
I feel like
you're
I'm definitely picking up on a lot more of that stuff this year.
No, you're right, but also like statistically, when you look at how close this playoff race is, like it I
The
mean,
AFC North, yeah, no,
no,
there's
no, no,
no
no, just the
denying that. It's
AFC,
crazy.
just the AFC. Period. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
it's crazy. Next game.
Yeah, Jets.
Yeah. Okay. So let me say this, right? I don't I don't ask for much, right? You know me. I usually don't care if I'm right or wrong about certain predictions. Um, was I right about the Bills?
I think I think either last week or the week before I said you were right about the Bills and you denied me.
I denied you. Why would I
So
deny you?
because you said you didn't think they would be this bad.
Did I really? I don't remember that.
I forget. Someone in the comments go pull it up.
Yeah. Well,
No one's
but
pulling it up.
okay. I mean, maybe yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have predicted this, but
Yeah, no.
like I said, I still stood by the fact that I think they peaked 2 to 3 years ago, and I think they've been on a downward trajectory since then. You know, and I think
You want and you want to know
this
and
game
you
is
want to know
actually like it's oddly a big important game for both teams.
and you want to know what's funny is as right as you are and as funny as this is going to be. You want to know where you were wrong. The
Where
where you were wrong is you thought the Bills were gonna not do as well this year because the conference around them was getting significantly better. But no, they're not even losing to those teams. They're losing to teams they should not be losing to. And while you're right in saying that they're not what they were, they peaked a couple years ago, it's not because the conference around them is getting better. It's because that, but also they're just kind of starting to suck. Something's not piecing together with them. And you think it's Josh Allen, don't you?
well, I, my thing is Josh Allen's style of play. I just think doesn't like it just doesn't equate to a winning team, in my opinion. Like
If you put let's say CJ Stroud, if you put CJ Stroud on that team,
no,
what do
no,
you think?
I'm not saying there. I'm not saying there. I'm not saying if you put another quarterback there, they're a Super Bowl winning team. But my thing is,
Hmm.
I just think that the media has been putting unrealistic expectations on them for a while now. And my thing has
Yeah.
always been like they're a solid team, and that's always how I've seen them. Like they're a solid team. At times, Josh Allen is an incredible quarterback, but like I
Hmm.
don't know. Like I never saw them as that crazy of a threat. Like everyone, like this was everybody that was like, and I think Nick Wright said this on the podcast, and he was so right. Like everybody who's was supposed to be the Chiefs' biggest threat, it's like the Bills and the Bengals are fighting for a playoff spot. Like
Yeah.
everybody's searching for like, oh, who's the Chiefs kryptonite? But it's like, bro, these teams got to do a lot more to be on like to even be like mentioned as a rival with the Chiefs. You know what I mean? Like
It's it's unfortunate, but it's really looking like a Super Bowl rematch right now if the
with
favorites win it.
with that being said, though, I think the Bills are going to win this game. I mean, I cannot, dude. I mean, if they lose this game, you might as well tank for Caleb. I mean, I'm joking.
I
I
I
mean,
mean I mean it sounds like you're gonna say you cannot see them losing this game, and I'm gonna take the Bills too, but the real only reason I'm taking the Bills in this matchup is because they already played the Jets once this year, and as
that's
you know,
what.
and you introduced to me, it's hard to beat a team twice.
That's why. That's
Um,
why I can't see the Bills losing this game. I think a lot of that Jets game, the first game, had to do with like it was a very weird game. Like Rodgers goes down early. And so it's just kind of like
yeah,
everyone's kind of like in shock, like, whoa, like,
yeah.
okay, this game is completely different now, like the Jets win that out of sheer will. Wasn't
Sheer
pretty.
luck.
Yeah, well, yeah, whatever you want to call it, but it wasn't pretty, but um, they won. And then I don't know. I just again, I have a really hard time thinking the Jets win this game. But I don't know if you heard on the broadcast during the game, them now, this is the first time I saw an actual timetable, but Aaron Rodgers is expected to
Hmm.
be back mid-December. Now,
Yep.
I have a theory on this, and it might contradict um, my prior thoughts because I always said that Rodgers is going to come back. But the more I'm thinking about it now, I think Rodgers is just bullshitting because I think he knows that the Jets aren't going to be in playoff contention by that point. So I think that his thing is he's going to sit out the rest of the season, but he's going to be like, "Oh, we were out of playoff contention, so I sat, but I was ready to go by mid-December." Like I think he really wants to try
Right.
to like prove a point that I got healthy before everyone else without
Hmm.
actually being that. Um so I am curious to see like if the Jets win this week and they somehow go on a little run, like if Rodgers is gonna regret this whole I'm coming back mid-December. And I
Right.
really hope he doesn't come back mid-December because I really, really do think that if he comes back, I seriously think I saw it happen with Durant. I really think that first game back, he's going to hurt himself again, and this time he might. I mean, with his age, he might be done. So,
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you what, if you see the Jets all of a sudden spark a 3 to 4 game winning streak to put them in a playoff spot, then you know the you know the league is rigged because they're like, Rogers is coming back. We gotta rig it. We gotta rig it. Like, but I guess we'll see on that. I think I already just said that I think I'm taking the Bills, so I think we can move on from that. But oh yeah, that's that. Next game. Seahawks Rams. So
Seahawks.
disappointing. So disappointing, Seahawks. It's just who did they sign?
I don't
Who did
know.
the Rams
I
sign?
feel like I feel like we got two bigger games, so we can kind of move past that since we're on a time thing here.
Hold on. Well, I don't even know what those games are. I'm revealing them to me one by one. Rams quarterbacks, Carson Wentz. Yeah, I'm curious if he's gonna play or not. I think he should play. That backup was a piece of shit, but yeah, I'll take the Seahawks in this one, unfortunately. Um, I see Vikings and Broncos. Wow,
All
two
jokes
unexpected
aside,
win streaks.
this is a big game. Now,
This is a huge game.
Now, let me just say this, right? And obviously, and I'm always joking, all jokes aside, like like I joke, everybody knows I joke about Kirk Cousins. Um, and I think I said this last week, but man, like just watching the Vikings, bro, like it just becomes sadder and sadder to think about, like, and again, I'm someone like it's really not because like I still think that regardless if they got into the playoffs, they would have lost in round one.
Mhm.
But it's just crazy to me to see how good they're playing right now. And I really feel for Kirk Cousins because it's starting to not look. I mean, people are going to start making jokes. I feel like because it's just like,
Yeah,
but that just comes with the territory. But however, the Broncos, like man, like holy shit, dude.
dude. I'll tell you what is week one. We were saying that Russ is gonna do a lot better this year, and he's gonna have kind of a comeback year, and it came to bite us in the ass. But did it? Because is he a late bloomer? Are we seeing exactly what you and I predicted? But I mean, not only are they on a 3-game win streak, look where they've beaten. Like, yeah, the Bills are one thing this season, but the Chiefs back to back. You'll love to see it. Let's ride. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a 6-game streak over a 4-game streak in this one. Also, because I love the Vikes. Joshua Dobbs, you really have as much as I love Kirk, one of my favorite players in the league, if not the, right? He is not as dual threat a quarterback as Josh Dobbs is. Josh Dobbs can throw, not as well as Kirk, but he can definitely run a shit ton better than Kirk. And he's a decent thrower, right? So now you also got teams questioning who haven't seen this. So he integrated himself so well into this new offense, right? That he's like, um, the teams don't know what to do, right? He didn't know what to do, but more so, they didn't know what to do to stop him, and it's working in his favor. Because and Jefferson might be back. I'm thinking Jefferson is either back this week or next week, and he could have been back last week. They were discussing it, so I'm gonna put my money on this week. Jefferson will be back. Um, that's a new target for you. So when you think about that, because Surtain, I was talking a lot of shit about Surtain at the beginning of the season. I'm starting to see that he's a decent player. Um, you get Surtain on Jefferson, right? That takes away Jefferson. He did really well against Diggs. Surtain did. You haven't had Jefferson, right? So even if Jefferson doesn't play a good game, you're taking away Jefferson existing is taking away Surtain, right? And that's giving more availability to the people who have been catching the ball from Josh Dobbs, and they have been winning these games. So I think Jefferson coming back, he doesn't have to do anything other than not get injured again to be effective on the field. And I think that's exactly what will happen.
Yeah, cool. I'm going with the Vikings too. We can move on. We can
See
get
it. And this will, if they win, tie the longest win streak of the season with 6, which ties the Chiefs 6-game win streak. Which I mean,
don't say it.
I was counting. Oh. Well, this is something I wanted to address with you. Hold on.
All right, but
I
let's make it
almost
quick
got.
because we have a big game to get to as the last game, and we have 10 minutes.
Okay, Mike. All right, you ready? Vikings are playing the Broncos, then the Bears, then the Raiders, then the Bengals, then the Lions, then the Packers, then the Lions.
That's
They
three.
could win.
Yeah, but I just counted three very difficult games.
I counted 4 extremely easy. We should win this games. Also, 2 against the Lions. They should break that 50-50. I'm looking at them ending this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5-2.
We'll see. We'll see. I disagree, but we'll see.
All right. Especially the next 3 weeks. The next 3 weeks are the Broncos, Bears, and Raiders. They should win those games. They should go on an 8-game win streak. Should. Not will.
Yeah.
Should.
Okay.
Oh, dude. I remember I said Eagles Chiefs. Would you watch that or the Steelers? I'll be completely honest. I didn't know they were playing this week. I just kind of threw out
Um.
2 names, but this
Um. I
no, I don't know.
I will be staying up for this game. um. And I mean, come on. The Chiefs are gonna win this game. I get it. We can all sit here and be like, oh, but I don't know, it's gonna be really. Come on, we know we all know who's gonna win this game. Like we don't have to do this. Why do we have to do this to ourselves? You're setting yourself
Weren't
up
you
for
just saying that
failure
I
and
needed to
disappointment.
hurry because we had a lot to say? You're like, oh, we all know. I guess we didn't have to hurry. Let's talk more about the Vikings. God,
It's called an expression. Like obviously I have more to say, but like I'm kind of
I
trying to
mean,
make my point here.
the problem with this game,
Fuck is your
the
point?
problem with this game is this is all we're gonna hear about this week, right? And not only it's a Monday night football game. We're gonna be hearing about this Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're gonna be hearing it every day instead of
Monday.
just like we should honestly just be hearing about it on like Friday and then like Monday, right? Saturday should be left for previewing the Sunday games. Thursday, like, but it's all we're gonna hear about. The Kelsey brothers, they're playing each other. Is Taylor Swift gonna be there? Like,
I
it's gonna suck for media. It's
to
gonna
be
suck for media. But
to be completely honest, I didn't think about either one of those things. I was just more so thinking about it being the top two teams in the league and a Super Bowl rematch. But
well, you're not gonna get it out of your head once you see it a million times. But anyways, it's interesting. There's a lot of points for each of the teams where the Eagles have the better record, but the Chiefs beat them last time. But the Eagles arguably played better last time. But the Chiefs are now fully healthy with a fully healthy Patrick Mahomes, and they beat him with an injured Patrick Mahomes. There's a lot going on here, I think. And I think I think if you're an Eagles fan, you're riding the Eagles on this game. And I I think you think the Eagles are gonna win, no doubt, because of how well they did in the Super Bowl last year. And I don't think that's a crazy mindset. Like if Chris or Bobby came out to me and they're like, "What are you talking about? The Eagles like Jalen Hurts in the Super Bowl?" Blah, blah, blah. I'd be like, I don't think you're right, but like it's hard to argue that when Jalen Hurts had one of the best Super Bowl performances ever against this very same team. Now, I think the Chiefs will win because it's kind of hard to bet against the Chiefs, but this should be the best primetime game of the year so far. It really should be.
I disagree with all that because like we have 10 weeks of the NFL this year that have already
Mm.
passed by. So if you're bringing up the Super Bowl to me, and I get your point. It's like, oh well, the last time they played, I get your point, but like, let's be honest for a second, right? And I know this is gonna be unpopular to say. Um, the Eagles are 8-1, but still don't. I don't know. Like to me, like they don't those games that they've won. None of those games I've watched to where I've been like, okay, like they can compete with the Chiefs like at their peak. And to me, the Chiefs always like the Chiefs are one of those teams that they show up against the really good teams and they play at their best. You know what I mean? Like they make sure they get up for these games and they find a way to win. They find a way to win. So I don't know, man. Like in my eyes, like I don't think Hurts hasn't been having the most incredible year. Um, I mean, yeah, if they play like they did in the Super Bowl, I think that they'll have like a good shot. But I just don't think that's going to happen. Again, I even though the Chiefs won last time, I think they're going to be hearing all week people say, "Man, the Eagles could have beat them in that Super Bowl. They looked better than them."
Yeah.
So they're going to have even more motivation, and
Hmm.
I think they're going to be fired up, man. I really do.
Well, here's the thing. Here, I have I take the Eagles, but I think that the Eagles are a great match for the Chiefs, unlike you. So don't answer this is rhetorical, but I do have a couple things to say. You're saying the Eagles 8-1 haven't had any real convincing this, blah blah blah. They don't convince you. You don't think they can put up with the Chiefs. I This is what you said last year. You said the same thing last year, and they did put up with the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Now I understand that's one game, but you did say this last year. So and then at the same time, the other thing I was gonna say is like let's stop talking about the Super Bowl. Let's start like there's been 10 games since then, blah, blah. But but the difference here is we're looking at basically the same story of these two teams from last year. Like if the Eagles were having a really different season from last year and the Chiefs were having a really different season from last year, then I'd understand that. But no, they're 8-2. They're 8-1. They're I don't want to say the same teams from last year, but they're producing at the same level as they were. So it's kind of you can compare the Super Bowl. Like the Rams. The Rams last year, you could not compare this far into the season with the Super Bowl because of how much they started to suck. Both the teams have been playing to the exact level that we expected them to, given that they just went to the Super Bowl and now they're playing each other again. I think it's so fair to throw in a Super Bowl comparison.
Yeah, I disagree just based off of the fact that I think the Chiefs defense is significantly better than it was last year. And also I think that there has been a clear, not like Jalen Hurts is still a really good quarterback, but like, come on, he hasn't been at that level that he was at the Super Bowl last year. So it's like,
Well, yeah, but the whole season before he wasn't at the level he was at the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl, he just decided to kick it up a notch. And was it because it was the Super Bowl, or was it because it was against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, who he knows are going to put up a fight? We'll see.
well, that also goes into my thing of the Chiefs defense has significantly gotten better this year. So it's not like he's playing the same defense. I'm not saying you can't use the Super Bowl. Like, I'm not saying that, but I'm like, it just sounds weird to me when I'm like, well, we have 10 weeks of like stats and like just the eye test. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, I understand your point. I hate Philly sports. I don't want to ever see anything good for them. So that probably goes into this too.
Mhm.
I think the Chiefs are gonna win, and I don't think it's gonna be as interesting as everyone thinks. So that's what I have to say.
You want to talk about not interesting? We agreed on every single game this week except for Thursday Night Football.
No, we didn't. You picked the Eagles.
No, I didn't. I picked the Chiefs.
I swear I heard you say I'm taking the Eagles.
I'm if I said that it was because I'm an idiot and I say shit I don't mean sometimes. I am taking the Chiefs.
Oh, okay. This whole time I felt like I was like we were arguing
No.
about.
I was arguing that the Eagles and the Chiefs are a better matchup than you think, and it's fair to compare them to the last season. But for another day. That is that for this week's edition of us talking about bullshit. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. We will be back next week, and we keep saying there's more content coming, but I keep getting too lazy to tap the upload button. They're all edited. I just too lazy to tap that button. So content coming. We'll see.
Alrighty. We will catch you guys on the next one.